Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Travel Royally podcast. We want to welcome you guys into 2024. Really excited to bring you guys some more podcasts this year and see where we can take this. Today, we have a couple members from the Monifieth Golf Club. Opened up in 1845. It's an open championship qualifying course. We have Miss Jan Kane, who's the managing secretary, and we have Vicky Hart, who is the general manager. We thank you again and enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Travel Royally podcast. We're very excited today to have a couple of guests from Monifieth. If you haven't heard of Monifieth, you should. It was established in Scotland in 1845, and they have 36 holes that offer challenges for all abilities on what are true links golf courses. The Links has been the host of many prestigious events in its time, including Open Qualifying, Senior Open Qualifying, R&A Junior Opens, and in 2024, it'll be one of the hosts of the Senior Open Qualifying again. And with us today, we've got Jan Kane, and she's the managing secretary, and she's been the driving force in the team since the early 2000s. She's introduced a lot of changes that have made a big difference and made the Links what it is today. And also joining us today is Vicky Hart, who joined the team back in July as a general manager after graduating from Colorado State University in Pueblo. So Vicky and Jan, welcome to the Travel Royally podcast.
Hi, thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
I hope that was an acceptable introduction.
Love
And
it.
I should say, Vicky, you're a long way from Pueblo. What brought you to University of Colorado, Pueblo?
What brought me to the university?
Yes.
Well, I played golf. Pardon?
An airplane. That's
Yeah.
what brought you.
A boat. No, I started playing golf when I was about 6, and I played in competitively for Oxfordshire County in England for my whole childhood and got scouted for an opportunity when I was actually playing on St Andrew's Castle course. And the rest is history. I just ended up there in 2018, survived COVID in the States, and graduated last summer.
Excellent. And what brought you to Scotland?
My boyfriend, he's actually the assistant pro at Arbroath, which is 15 minutes down the coastline. So I came up here with him as he graduated a year before I did. And then I got in contact with Monifieth because I heard that they were hiring and managed to secure myself a role as the graduate general manager before I do all the training to become the actual general manager.
Excellent. Congratulations. Did you meet
Thank
your
you.
boyfriend in college?
Yep, he was the men's captain of Pueblo on the golf team.
Is he from over here as well? Or over there?
He's from Ireland.
Ah.
From Northern Ireland. Yeah. So we really made the United Kingdom united. Nailed it.
Well said. Well said. And Jan, how did you come to be a golfer?
I'm not. Bizarrely,
You're not?
I'm not. I have worked here for 23 years. And when I first came for my interview, was asked, did I golf? And I said, no, my children were very young at the time. And I said, maybe when the boys are a bit older. My oldest son turned 30 this year, and I've still not picked up a golf club.
Wow.
However, that might change because Vicky and I have got a bit of a deal, and I'm going to teach her all I can about Monifieth Links and the business that we have here. And she's going to teach me all that she can about golf. So we're going to end up with a new excellent GM and might even end up with me playing golf, but we'll see.
Well, I hope that happens. It's a wonderful game and one that you can play with your children and grandchildren once you have them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think sometimes the longer you work in the business, the less inclined I am to join in, but we'll see what happens.
Well, how did you come to work at Monifieth? How did that come about? Were you working with another club or?
No, to be perfectly honest, at the time when I first came to Monifieth, the role at the time or the position that I applied for was primarily finance based, which is where my my skills and my previous experience lay. So I came from a finance background, and that was the role initially at Monifieth. And then just through time, the role has evolved, and different staff have moved on, and so on and so forth. And I've gone from being part-time financier to full-time managing secretary in the last 23 years.
Excellent. Well, that's congratulations are in order. That's fantastic. What a journey.
Thank you.
So, Jan, tell us a little bit about Monifieth. Most people in the States haven't heard of a lot of golf courses in Scotland, including Monifieth. So tell us a little bit about the club.
I'm going to let Vicky do that bit for you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So our medal course is the True Champion, and it's been the host of many events like the RNA Senior Qualifying, which, like you said, we're hosting again next year, along with Panmure,
Downfield,
and Montrose, for the actual Senior Open, which is being held at Carnoustie. The medal course plays at 6,655 yards and provides a challenge for all players, especially when the sea wind picks up, which in Scotland happens nearly every single day.
Yep.
So we also have the Ashludy course, which is shorter and adds a short game challenge for everyone. It doesn't matter what ability you are, it's a challenge nonetheless. It's got more undulating greens than the medal, and it provides a base for our 100 juniors as well, which we like to encourage them all to play on. And then we've made them their own little 3-hole course as well, so to encourage them all to stay and join on for the future.
Excellent. And I want to learn more about the club, because I think it's a unique structure that you have, right? It's not like a typical members club, correct?
No, so this is where it's a setup that is kind of unique to this coastline, really. Very similar to what you have at St Andrews, where St Andrews Links Trust run and manage the golf courses, and then the clubhouses are separate. It's very similar here. So we have the 2 golf courses, as Vicky's explained, and we have 3 clubhouses, and it's the members of the clubhouses who play on our 2 golf courses. 2 of the clubhouses have catering and bar facilities. Anybody coming to visit Monifieth will be looked after in one of the clubhouses, so they'll be guaranteed a friendly welcome whichever one we pop them into. They work on a rota basis, so there's always somebody there to welcome any guests.
It's reminiscent of Carnoustie or Leven Links, where they've got multiple clubs playing across those links, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how many members are in the club? Do you know?
We've got 1,200 golf season ticket holders, 1,200 adults here at Monifieth, and there's just over 100 juniors.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how many visitor rounds a year do you get? Do you know?
Not enough.
I guess that's why we're here, right?
Yeah. To be fair, with that volume of membership, sometimes trying to get the balance between offering visitors tea times and keeping the members happy, it can be a bit of a juggling act sometimes. But we could probably have in the region of probably about 10,000 visitor rounds in a year.
Yeah. That'd do a lot for the health of the course, right? Getting that kind of input.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for people that are, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I was saying as the sort of the age demographic of our members increases, and therefore, sometimes the numbers can fall, then really the visitor revenue is something that we are actively looking to try and increase, just to try and keep that balance of the income to keep the courses in the condition that they're in.
Yeah. Well, when you think about places like, I'm thinking about a place like Royal Troon as an example, where they probably get, I don't know, 20,000 visitor rounds or some crazy number like that, right? Mm-hmm. It really does reduce the annual subscription for the members because they're taking in millions of pounds, right? Which is, I think it's good for the game, but I don't know that I'd want to be a member of a club that's got that many visitors, right?
Yeah,
No,
I think that's what's good about us as well, because as much as we still get a good amount of visitors. All of our members, they're also willing to play with the visitors. So there's a lot of them that we had an example of it the other day. This American man, he came by himself, and instead of having a caddy, he actually chose to go out with one of our members, and he said that his experience was so enjoyable because he got all the history of the course and he got that really personal touch, and we do pride ourselves on that as well.
Yeah, I think that's, it's fairly common for small clubs like Monifieth or like the club I belong to, Murray, where members will be the caddy, or you're welcome. It's kind of the same thing. You can play with a member, or you can take a member for a caddy. So I think that's a great way to get a true local experience, as you said, Vicky. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It makes you see all the hidden parts of the golf course too, because they'll take you in some places that you don't want to find. So it's definitely good.
Well, it's funny, the courses that we play here are all tree lined, unlike what you have there, right? Or at least the links courses. And if you came over, Vicky, as an example, and played, you could bring Jan as your caddy, I suppose, since she doesn't play. But if you hit a shot, you go, ooh, you might say, well, that looks like it might be out of bounds, or that might be in trouble. Because I know the course so well, I'd say, no, you're fine over there. Or you may think you hit a good shot, and I'm like, well, I think you're in the water over there, or what have you. And so that local knowledge is really, it's important to having fun and playing your best round, I suppose.
Definitely. But then you also have the counteract that with links golf, you never know. Either you could think it's the most perfect shot, and I could tell you it's perfect, and it could still end up in a bunker or anywhere. It just hits that one bounce and it's gone. So course knowledge is good to an extent with links golf, but it won't always get you home.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what happened with Tom Watson, right? I mean, he played his first links golf ever at Monifieth. The first hole, he had a perfect drive straight down the middle, never found the ball, and immediately had a dislike for links golf, right?
That's very true, yes.
And now he's basically, I mean, he won 5 Opens. He's beloved in Scotland, and he's, one of the biggest proponents of links golf there is.
Yeah.
So.
And he's one of our honorary members, so he does like to come back every once in a while to say hi. So
yeah, when I was doing some research, I saw some photographs of him there at the course.
Yeah.
That must have been a very special day. I'm sure you were there, Jan, right?
I was, yes. I've got a very special photograph actually with Tom, which we sometimes have a bit of fun in the office here with it, because it's a lovely picture of him and I, so we have a bit of fun with it. However, it was 2016 he came back, which was about 40 years after his first win at Carnoustie, and he came back in 2016 when we were actually host for Senior Open qualifying that year as well, and he reenacted that original tee shot on the links, and he was also presented with honorary membership, and he placed a plaque on the first tee, which obviously still sits there, and it's a favourite photo spot for visitors to the medal course.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. In addition to Tom Watson, you've got a lot to be proud of at Monifieth. I think as you study the club, it's got a remarkable history. Golf's been played there since, I think, 1639. And then, Alan Robertson laid out a 9-hole course in 1845. He was the best golfer in the world. He's the reason the Open Championships exists. And if I'm not mistaken, is Monifieth like the 12th oldest course in the world?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And then in 1880, it got expanded to 18 holes. And then the second 18 was added in 1912, I believe. And as I said, it's held a lot of great qualifying tournaments, and it's ranked 30th in Scotland. So beyond that, what makes Monifieth so special in your mind? And I'm gonna ask you, Vicky, as a golfer, what makes it so special in your mind?
I mean, I've played a lot of golf courses, and I really do love playing Monifieth. I think the course itself is just kept to such a good standard, and we have greenkeepers that have been here for years, and they know the course inside and out, so they know what makes it good, they know what needs correcting when it's time to be corrected. But I think as well, just the atmosphere around it, everything's so friendly and welcoming, and there's a lot of places that you'll go where you kind of get a bit of tension when you come because you're just there to play around, whereas here we try and make it as personal as possible, and I think that does actually make your round feel a lot specialer. And like you said, we're a hidden gem as well. You don't know that we're here until you're here, but when you do play it, it just is a lovely course to play. Either course is good.
Yeah.
I would happily play the course any day after work. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Challenging. Lovely.
In the summertime, you'd like to play after work.
Yeah. I'm the biggest fair weather golfer as it comes. So Scotland may not have been the best move, but in the summer I do play it quite a bit.
I had a tee time right after I met the two of you at Golf Connect Scotland on that Saturday to play the old course at 9:30 on that Saturday. And it was threatening with rain, so we didn't play. And it turned out to be a completely acceptable golf day. And more than acceptable, it was fine, right? And I mean, it wasn't.
Weather forecast is a guide. You don't follow it. You take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. Yeah, someone over there told me on that trip, if someone asks you what the weather, is going to be today, they said, check with me tomorrow.
Yeah.
We
always say you could get all 4 seasons in the same day. You could experience it all.
Yeah. So, Jan, for people that are unfamiliar with that part of Scotland, tell them where Monifieth is located.
So we on the east coast of Scotland, about 30 minutes from St Andrews and 10 minutes drive from Carnoustie. We are about an hour from Edinburgh Airport, and in Carnoustie country, where we're situated, you would find over 30 other golf courses within a 40-minute drive. So we really are, there's just a wealth of golf in such a small concentrated area. We really are super lucky where we are.
How are you south or north of, I believe you're south of Carnoustie, aren't you?
Marginally, yes,
yeah.
Just. But they're almost our neighbours.
So you've got, in that area, you've got Monifieth, you've got Panmure, you've got Montrose. Those are all wonderful golf courses, not kind of dotted around Carnoustie.
Yeah, basically in a line up the coast. So there's Monifieth, Panmure, Carnoustie, then Arbroath, and then Montrose. So you could just play straight up the coastal line, and you could enjoy 5 amazing golf courses just at that one small stretch of coast.
Yeah, that'd make a wonderful trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
An enterprising young tour operator might put a trip like that together.
Well,
that would be a very smart tour operator.
Well, there's only one problem with that. I'm not young anymore, so that excludes me. I haven't played Monifieth, honestly, but it's been on my list. It's been on my radar for a very long time. And I was telling, at Golf Connect Scotland, I was telling the guy at Western Gales, I think he was the general manager there, that embarrassingly, I haven't played there either. There are a handful of courses in Scotland that I haven't played. Monifieth, Montrose, Glasgow Gales, Western Gales. Those are I would say the 4 that I really want to play that I haven't. And then after that would be places like the Mockery that are, or Askerness that are kind of more difficult to get to. But I love finding new courses or courses that I haven't played. And every time I'm over, I try to add, another course to my list that I haven't played. Recently, I played Scotch Craig, which was just great fun. Really friendly members and just a wonderful time. So, so when people come over,
welcome you one day. We'd love to welcome you one day.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think you and I should take Jan out for her first real 18.
I'm 100% down. We can take you for that.
To be fair, I'm probably more about the 19th, but that's a whole other podcast.
Hey, did you? I don't know if you noticed that, Jan, but America has rubbed off on Vicky, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure people in England don't say, "I'm down for that." That's truly an American. That's part of the American vernacular.
Yes, part of our multifaceted office these days. We've got the English, American, and the Scottish team.
My Scottish twang is starting to come through too. So
yeah, I haven't heard it yet, but
I'm trying to restrict it as much as possible.
That's good to say. Aye. She slips that in a few times.
I was just going to say that. That's the number one thing. And you've got to do it with gusto, not just I. It's going to be I.
Aye.
Aye.
So
yeah, that's funny.
So it's starting to slip in more and more often.
Do you have, so you have an American in the office as well?
Yeah, Vicky.
Oh.
No.
No, it's funny because I deal with Gullen occasionally and Ely, and they both have American women that work on their reservations teams, which I guess is interesting mildly. But when North Americans come to visit, what can they expect at Monifieth?
Apart from all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. You should never not bring your waterproofs when you come to Monifieth or any golf course in Scotland.
Yeah.
Bring your waterproofs. But then again, the weather, that makes up half of the challenge of any links golf course, because the wind is the thing that makes most of them so challenging anyway.
Right. Well, what about from a welcome standpoint? Is it?
Is it welcoming?
Well, yeah. I mean, the two of you are welcoming. I get that. Yes, but I want to dive into the fact that you've got a unique experience. I mean, I can feel it in talking to you about how special the golf course is and the club itself and the multiple clubs that play out of there. But I think, as I mentioned before we went on the air, we want to provide experiences for our guests that are surprising, right? Or where they're delighted with the experience. And you talked earlier, Vicky, about the American that showed up and he was a single and he wanted a caddy and he agreed to play with a member and had such a special time. That's what I'm getting.
So when visitors come to the golf course, and it's the same with our season ticket holders too, they get greeted by our starter, who will then check them in, tell them, show them to the 2 clubs, depending on which one's the host for the day, and give them that history of the golf course. And we do like to make sure that all of our visitors know all the history before they go out, and tell them Tom Watson's story, mention a bit about Vanderbilt, especially the ones that are going to go play Carnoustie. It's nice to mention that we also have the link with Vanderbilt as well. And yeah, we just try and make them feel as welcome as possible, because you just want them to be able to remember that, remember us for being nice and going that extra mile for them and making them want to come back to somewhere where they do see it being so friendly. I think that's very important for us, and that's what we are recognized for.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on that sort of personal experience. We're a really small team, and when visitors and guests do come to play at Monifieth, their sort of first point of contact with us is in the Links Golf Centre, where one of the admin team who's generally dealt with their booking will be here to welcome them as well. And it's always really lovely, especially after a few months of maybe emails or telephone contact, to actually be able to put a face to the name. So we do really enjoy actually getting to meet everyone face to face. So we make a point of somebody in the reservations team being available as well. And then as Vicky said, the starters are there on the tee. So we do, it's that friendly, personal service that's what we really pride ourselves on, just being so welcoming. And we do get a lot of feedback to that effect.
Well, I think something that makes the club a little bit unique and adds to that experience is that, although you haven't said it, I'm guessing that you're a member of the club for the day. So whichever club is hosting that day, you're welcomed as a member for the day. And what's interesting about that, in comparison to the other courses that we've talked about, and I'm not knocking Carnoustie or Leven Links as an example, but you're welcome to play the course, but unless you play with a member, you don't go into those clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't just walk into Leven Thistle Club. You've got to be invited in by a member. And it sounds like what you're doing is kind of pre-arranging that introduction so that they're welcome to have, a bacon roll and coffee before the round, or a pint after the round, or something to that nature.
Yeah. Very much so.
We very much encourage it, because you want those clubs as well to have that atmosphere as well, and kind of get the football of the course too. Like, if they succeed, we succeed. If we succeed, they succeed. So it's nice to encourage everyone to get involved. The only golf club that doesn't really benefit is the Ladies Panmure, but it's a group of 50 of them. About 50 members, and it's a ladies club, and they're all retired, and they're just the loveliest group of ladies, and they have their own little tea and coffee after every round, and they are so sweet. But they're their own little club that members and visitors don't really go to. But it's very lovely.
Well, that's fantastic. So I got a question for you, Vicky. What's your best score around Monifieth?
See, I'm not actually. So my handicap's +3, and I haven't played to my handicap on the course yet. I mostly play match play, but my lowest score on the course is 2 under. But I haven't actually beaten my handicap just yet. But that seems like a next summer goal, so it'll be okay.
I don't think you understand how good she is, Vicky. That's very strong. A +3. Can you beat your boyfriend?
I have, and I will happily admit to that. And I will brag about that for the rest of my days, because we do match play a lot, and he normally makes me play off the same tees as him to make it fair as well, because before he turned pro he was off +3, so he likes to be like, we're on an even playing field. So I have beaten him off of the back tees, so that is my claim to fame.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. My instructor is a woman named Angela Ormsby, and she was an All-American at Georgia, and she played 7 years on the LPGA tour. She's just fantastic, and she's just a joy to play with. She's just she's in her early 40s now, I would guess, but she's hits the ball straight, relatively far. We've played matches. Her husband's a professional as well, and she and I, with him and one of his students, and we beat them both times we played them, like a 9-hole match. And I tell people, I've never seen her miss a fairway or a green. I mean, never. Wow. She's just, it's fantastic. Just fantastic. So Vicky, I don't mean Vicky, Jan, what's next on the club's agenda or the course? I know it's coming into winter time. Is there work planned on the course? Any new bunkers or changes to the course?
Nothing major. We're really on pretty much a maintenance focused program this winter in preparation for the Senior Open coming next year in July in 24. So it's very much maintenance and tidying, because the courses are looking great, and yes, we just want to perfect what we've already got really at the minute.
Yeah, excellent. I know that that's a busy time for greenkeepers. There's a lot to be done, and you think about it, after playing so many rounds over the summer, there's a lot of work to be done, repairing worn areas, walkways, bunkers. I know it's a busy time for them, and yeah, I admire the work that they do, because it seems like by May the courses are in just magnificent shape. Do you have a lot of gorse on the course?
Less than we used to,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's still a fair bit.
Yeah, we have, I think the 12th hole on the meadow probably has our biggest amount of gorse. But not every hole is gorse lined like a lot of courses around here. Montrose, if you went there, that's very gorse heavy, but we're not that gorse heavy.
The reason I brought that up is it does provide a beautiful backdrop, the yellow,
Yeah.
when the course is in bloom. Do you recommend golfers put their bare arm into there to retrieve a golf ball?
Absolutely not. I caddied for a little bit, and I remember telling a lot of the people I caddied for that if their balls went in there, that we were just going to drop one and not tell anyone that it went in there, because I was not looking to get scratched up.
Well, I've seen grown men in 300-pound waterproofs dive into a bush to get a $3 golf ball, and you're like, what in the world are you doing?
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's crazy.
If they want to do that, then they can, but I will just stand there and smile until they get their ball. But yeah. I will not be jumping in there with them.
Let me ask this, Vicky, since you're the golfer, no offense, Jan.
That's okay, none taken.
What would be your favorite 3 courses around Monifieth?
Well, Strathmore, I really enjoyed. I played it as a junior, so it has a lot of sentimental value, just because me and my dad, we traveled up and we stayed in a caravan, and it was a brilliant experience. And it's kind of the same with St Andrew's Castle course, because it's where I won and got like a scholarship offer and stuff like that. I also,
you have to say Arbroath.
Well, yeah, Monifieth, that's one. But I do really like Arbroath. I think it's very unique set out. It's your traditional links, 9 in, 9 out. No, 9 out, 9 in.
I heard they have a dodgy professional staff there, though.
Yeah, they're really a bit iffy. I wouldn't go there if you wanted to go into the shop. But yeah, and I really do like Panmure as well. I've played there a couple of times now, and I just think it's a really good golf course.
Yeah.
And Montrose. You got to throw Montrose in there. As much as you do feel very bad for them just because the coastline's eroding so quickly, but they've still managed to keep the course in such fantastic conditions that you have to give them every credit where credit's due. As much as Davey will definitely brag about it.
Yeah, I understand. I haven't played there, but I've sadly read about the issues that they've had with the coastline. But even Carnoustie's not immune to those issues. Not so much erosion, but flooding. Right. This year they've had to cancel days because of the flooding.
Well, I think just in the last month and a half alone, pretty much Carnoustie, Arbroath, Panmure, and us, we've all experienced flooding just from where the Barry Burn floods over from the sea, which is a big shame. But every course is now back open, and they've all dealt with it very well. And you've got to give all the green credit where credit's due, because that could not have been a fun job. And it's very disheartening for them putting all that work in and it being flooded. So we give them all their credit.
Vicky, what's your okay? So you've played Castle. I love that course as well. I think it's underrated.
I think it's very underrated.
I love a lot of the holes, but 9, 17, and 18, I think are just 3 outstanding holes. What's your favorite hole on the course?
Now you're putting me on for the castle course.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. I can't think of a single hole. I'm gonna just go with the 18th. It's a great hole. I can't remember a single one of them right now.
Well, okay, 17 is the par 3 over, with the kind of over the cavern.
Yes,
right? I mean, it's a gorgeous.
that's a good hole.
And 18 is a long dog leg, right? I mean, you won a scholarship there, and you would think, you'd remember.
I know, you'd think that I would remember it, but that was also a good 6 years ago, nearly. So.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
A lot of things have happened since then.
Well, let me ask this: what was your favorite course in the U.S. that you played?
Well, I managed to play in Hawaii, so that just wins everything just for the location alone. We played Waikoloa, I think, which was fantastic. It was very close to a volcano. So you can imagine English girl just going over for the first semester and getting to play in Hawaii was good enough, really, to call it quits just there.
That was part of your college schedule?
Yeah, that was one of our tournaments was in Hawaii.
Wow, that's fantastic. What course would you most like to play anywhere in the world?
Well, other than the obvious Augusta, I'd really like to play Shadow Creek.
Yep.
Yeah. After seeing Tiger and Phil battle it out, I've just really had just want to go and play it and see what it's all about and see if it is as hard as they made it look as well, because they pulled it off very well, but I just want to go experience it for myself, reenact the match maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they played all that well, but the course looked fantastic. Did you get to play Ballyneal in Colorado?
No, I did not.
Yeah. I heard that's a fantastic course. But most people say they want to play Augusta National. So my next question is, Jan, when will lessons start with? I mean, you've got a +3 willing to teach you at no charge. I mean,
I know. In the summer,
thousands of pounds of value for free. I don't understand how you're not taking that.
No, summertime. I think Vicky's a fair weather golfer, and I think I would have to be inclined to take that as the first bit of advice. So we'll go with springtime. So perhaps if you come over in the summer, I might be just about
ready to take on Ash Ludi. We'll start off.
I'll maybe still be caddying, but I might have picked up the clubs by then.
Well, I'm going to make a promise to you. I haven't made plans to come over next summer, but I typically try to get over there in the summer. If I do come over, I promise I'm going to come play.
Okay.
And then all I ask is that you buy me a pint afterwards. I'm going to test your 19th hole acumen, Jan. You say that that's your best hole. Well, I want to see about that.
That sounds like a challenge.
I'll take you for 18 holes and she can take you for the last one.
There you go. You just put a smile on her face. That's her. She's a +3 on the 19th hole. Put it that way.
Absolutely.
There we go. That's my claim to fame.
So, Vicky, I've got one last question, and this is a golf-related question, which is why I'm asking you. So we have a lot of guests that come over for the first time, North Americans that have never played links golf. And, from a golfing perspective, and you mentioned some things that you need to do when you come over. But, in terms of golf shots and how to play on Monifieth or another links course, how do you recommend that people prepare for the types of shots they're going to need to hit over there? And then, Jan, I'm going to let you address the type of shots they take in the bar. But let's start with.
I think the most important shot to learn before you come over is just a penetrating wind shot. In the States, obviously, you can hit everything high and just watch it fly for miles, and especially in Colorado. So a lot of them aren't actually as confident doing the wind shots, and that's where you're going to get the lower scores. the bounces in links golf are always unpredictable, so there's no point trying to learn how to do that. But if you can get that wind shot nailed, you'll definitely be flying on the course. And you cannot underestimate the power of a Texas wedge. That's what gets you around the golf course. If you can make 100-yard putt, you will absolutely succeed on any links golf course.
Yeah. Let me ask this, as a +3, if you're, let's say, 30 yards off the green, are you going to chip it or putt it typically?
It depends how tight the lie is. If it's really tight and there's a chance I might blade it, I would probably just putt it, or I would use a wood and kind of putt it with a wood just to get that extra oomph behind it. I do like chip and runs a lot more than I like putting, but that's just because my putting is not quite on par with the rest of my game. But I would putt off the green from a fair distance if the line was tight enough that it acts like a putting green.
Are you saying you'd be a +5 if you could putt?
Absolutely. I'd be brilliant if I could putt. I can drive. I can do that very, very well, but putting is not my forte.
I'm going to tell you something I think that's important for anyone that's listening, and for you, Jan, as well. And I mean this in all seriousness. When you play links golf, and you can attest to this, Vicky, it forces you to be creative, because in the States, we play a game in the air where we tend to hit the ball high. It stops and drops, or drops and stops on the green. The run-ups aren't hard like they are there, where it'd be very rare for someone to 70 yards out to hit a bump and run 7-iron, right? But in Scotland, I use my 7-iron everywhere. There's a member at Murray, his name's Jim Young. He taught me how to hit this, play it back in your stance, kind of hood it a little, and thing's magic, right? I mean, he uses it like a magic wand from everywhere. And I use mine all the time, and I brought it here, and I use it here when it's appropriate. And it really it forces you to be more creative and to look at golf differently, because the games are two very different games: links golf versus parkland golf. It's the way that I explain it is, if you're familiar with American baseball,
yeah,
then American softball, right? So you've seen both play, Vicky, but if Jan came over, she might say, hey, that's the same game. It's a bat and a ball. People wear gloves. There's a fence. You've got home runs. And in reality, they're very different games. And that's how I look at links golf. You use basically the same tools, but the game's very different. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now, Jan, here we are. We've come off the course. Vicky and I were tired. We sit down. What are you offering me to drink? What's your favorite post-round beverage?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, mine would have to be gin. But I have to confess to not being a whiskey fan. But I'm
so
sure
gin and tonic?
Gin and tonic, absolutely. With a slice of orange, just to be a little bit different.
Have you tried it with cucumber?
I'm not a fan. I like the citrus of the orange.
Have you tried what's it called? An espresso martini made with gin?
Oh, espresso martini is just my favorite ever. I can't believe we're having this conversation on it.
Well, I just want people to know that when they come off the course, you're going to be there standing there with an espresso
martini in one hand and a gin in the other.
That's how we make our experience personalized. Jan has actually stood on the back of the 18th green
under an umbrella holding a martini.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I can't believe I'm getting such a reputation.
Yeah. Wow. Jan and Vicky, it's been great having you. And I truly appreciate you investing an hour of your time with us today to talk about golf in Monifieth, the cocktails that are available, and the welcome that they'll get. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
so
us.
much for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much again to Miss Jan and Vicky for coming on today. We're really excited again to bring you guys some more content in 2024, some new and exciting stuff. We're going to be focusing on St. Andrews in January. If you liked and enjoyed this video, please like and share and subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out. Bye.